You know, when I see what
These guys are creepy and yes, just weird as hell. That's what you see. That's what you see.
is the weirdest thing to me. Democrats say that it is racist to believe. Well, they say it's racist to do anything. I had a Diet Mountain Dew yesterday and one today. I'm sure they're going to call that racist too, but
I can't wait to debate the guy. That is, if he's willing to get off the couch and show up. So
it's good. I love you guys.
we aren't going back. We aren't going back. We are not going back.
I wanted to start out with that ad from our friends at the Lincoln Project because it perfectly describes the one word that I think is most important in this campaign, and that is contrast. The contrast between the career prosecutor and the convicted felon, the contrast between the selflessness of Tim Walz, the joy in governing of Tim Walz, and the anger and selfishness and unending ambition of J.D. Vance, an ambition to only advance himself and his career, all he cares about. And I think that contrast between the two, between the four really, is why Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have had such a difficult time, have failed so miserably trying to attack and define Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. They just can't do it. They have no hits on their record because their record is incredible. They have terrible personal attacks against them that fall flat and really just put off voters because J.D. Vance and Donald Trump are weird. And it's why, alongside J.D. Vance and Donald Trump, the Fox propaganda outlet can't do anything but embarrass themselves day in and day out with these weird messages that just immediately get shut down in the most beautiful ways. Fox News constantly getting shut down because they are unable to define Kamala Harris and Tim Walz. And a perfect example of that happening was in this clip in which a couple of Fox hosts got shut down to their face, and I want to check it out.
But what I'm saying is that since then, you got to look what Minnesota's done. They've tried to heal. They've moved on. Minnesota's now ranked 4th by U.S. News and World Report as one of the best states in the country to live in. And if we're going to call him a liberal, let's talk about what he did as a liberal. He expanded for kids in public schools, free breakfasts, he expanded access to Medicaid, and he expanded access to medical and family paid leave. This is the most pro-family governor in the country. Now he's going to be one of the most pro-family tickets in America.
That's the contrast that I'm talking about. J.D. Vance wants to talk about family values, pretend that he cares about family, when in reality, he just wants to criticize and critique and chastise the choices that millions of Americans make to decide what they want to do with their family and their life. But what does Tim Walz do? He says, mind your own damn business. People can do what they want, but what we're going to do is we're going to support them in whatever they do. We're going to support them. We are going to invest in paid family leave. We are going to make sure that no kid is hungry at school. We are going to build a better community in Minnesota, a community that Tim Walz actually cares about because he's from and didn't leave, didn't go on off to Silicon Valley and chase power and money like J.D. Vance did. No, he stayed and built his community because he cares about it, because he's selfless, because he wants to empower other people. That's what Tim Walz is all about, and that is that contrast. That's that contrast that MAGA just can't get past because they don't understand selflessness. And certainly their two candidates don't. Donald Trump certainly doesn't. I don't think Donald Trump could spell the word. And Donald Trump has been getting crushed, and it's just been so incredible lately because his campaign is spiraling. He is clearly crazy, and like we talk about with this contrast, he is clearly on his heels because he can't deliver a message against Kamala Harris without looking like the crazy person that he is, absolutely losing it. And he was called out for that by Fox News liberal Jessica Tarlov in this clip, and I want to check it out.
And, you know, we reject our crazies. It's time for you guys to reject him.
Okay.
Give me a crazy person, I'll reject him.
Donald Trump.
See, that's your problem. He's not crazy. That's your problem.
That is exactly the problem.
You think that
Every metric was up when he was president. And
That's
you know
not
what?
true.
Oh, okay.
there's nothing
All right.
that he
It's not surprising, but that's just nonsense from Greg Gutfeld. That's nonsense from the MAGA host. If the Republican Party rejected their crazy, we wouldn't have Marjorie Taylor Greene. We wouldn't have Lauren Boebert. We wouldn't have Mac Gaetz. We certainly wouldn't have Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Hell, we wouldn't have most of the Republican Party, if not almost all, if they rejected their crazy. So I don't want to hear any of that. And I don't want to hear this comparison that Tim Walz, because he wants to feed hungry kids in schools, is as radical as Marjorie Taylor Greene, who pushes conspiracy theories for a living practically. Doesn't do a job, doesn't pass bills, doesn't vote on important legislation that makes people's lives better like Tim Walz does. No, she doesn't care about governing. She cares about her hits on Fox News and Steve Bannon's podcast and OAN and Newsmax and whatever it is she's doing besides the job she was elected to do, which she clearly can't. Because she doesn't have the experience, doesn't have the expertise, and doesn't have the empathy to care about anyone else but herself. Because that's what MAGA is about. MAGA is all about Donald Trump. And someone who makes this case, who makes this contrast that we're always talking about, is Pete Buttigieg, talking about Tim Walz and his selflessness, and I love it, so I want to check it out.
What you think of the vice president's pick and what you think Tim Walz will bring to the ticket?
I'm really excited. Like you said, she had so many great directions she could go in. She also has found an extraordinary partner who has brought that joy immediately to the campaign trail, and somebody who I think sets up this ticket and this campaign even more than was already true to be about all of us. That's the thing I'm really excited about. As you showed, he has such a compelling story, such an interesting biography, classroom teacher, many years in the military, football coach, and then a very effective member of Congress and governor. But one thing you noticed right away about him is that it's not about him. I was thinking about what those different experiences have in common. Being a teacher, being a coach, being a senior non-commissioned officer. And what they all have in common is they're all about cultivating and supporting other people. And you can tell that's what he's about. And that's what this ticket is about. I think it's one of the reasons why the Trump campaign can't figure out what to do with this ticket, even more so today than what's been true ever since she became the nominee. They cannot fathom a campaign or any leaders who are not about themselves. But this campaign, as impressive and compelling as the ticket themselves are, they've also made it clear that this campaign isn't about them. It's about you. It's about us. It's about the future of this country. And I think his personal qualities and his message really speak to that in a way that's going to continue that focus on the American people. That's how she's going to win this election.
It will be this selflessness, this dedication to improving our country at all costs, no matter what obstacles you put in front of us, that will define this race. That will show the character of Kamala Harris and Tim Walz and the lack of character of Donald Trump. The Supreme Court just said that the president can be a king if they want. Presidency can be an authoritarian. You can be a dictator if you want. And so it's time that we have, and we do with Joe Biden, but let's keep it going, that we have someone in the White House with the character like Joe Biden did to say, no, I'm going to respect this office. I'm going to respect our democracy because I am not a person. Joe Biden isn't. Kamala Harris isn't. They say, I'm not a person who wants to abuse this office for my own gain like Donald Trump would. No, I want to use this office to make our country better. That's what President Biden has done. That's what Vice President Harris has done alongside Joe Biden. And that's what she's going to do when she's president. Because her and Tim Walz, these are two selfless people who have dedicated themselves to our country. And I am so excited for them to continue to fight for us in the White House for 4 and then 8 years. I like the sound of that. And if you do too, make sure you join the movement that we are building here by hitting that subscribe button, joining this channel. And if you like this channel, watch a couple videos, make sure to leave a like. It really goes a long way. And the support means the world to me. And until next time, I'll see you soon.